So this is in the code combination, right? When you went in there,
Yeah.
here, yeah. So here the company line of business all was pre-populated, right?
Yes. Yes.
So how was that? Meaning,
We can set
where
the
did that information?
default value, right? When we are working with that value set, you can set that this is what the default value. I'll show that. So you can create alias name, or you can also set the default value in the segment.
Oh, is it based upon the legal entity you pick or?
Chart of accounting. I'll show that segment level.
Okay, yeah, okay.
So now we defined invoice, and it's showing that your invoice is not validated. Click on this. You can find the invoice is not validated. Funds not attempted. It seems budget also is enabled. It's not required. Approvals are not required. Accounting. We have to do 3 options. Funds means it's basically related for the budget. There might be budget enabled for your accounting structure ledger. So that's why it is showing that information. Here it is. First, we'll go with validation. Go to invoice actions here, validate. Invoice is validated successfully. Validated. Approvals not required. And funds also it's telling us that not applicable, not required. Where we are right now, create invoice is done. Validation is done. Then approval is optional, not required. Then we have to create accounting transactions. Invoice actions. There are 2 options to create accounts. One is account in draft and post to ledger. And post to ledger. Here we can find accounts in draft means the system will generate the accounting combination in draft mode. But of course, again, you can go for cancel those because it's not final. It's not final account, it's just a draft. It can be cancelled. If you say that accounts are clear, we want to create final accounts and transfer to GL, then we can choose this post to ledger. That's the difference between these two. Even if you create in draft mode after verification, then you need to go with post to ledger. You need to go with post to ledger. Let's click on post to ledger so that your accounts will be created, final accounts, and transferred to ledger. Now system is preparing the accounting transactions. Whatever the expenses we have created here means supplier invoice here. That's showing that accounting has been completed successfully. Now this is your expense. Debit means what comes in. Credit means what goes out. We have got the furniture, which is cost of 99.5. That's what actually our company has got. Liability. Liability means we are supposed to make the payment. We are supposed to make the payment. Still payment is not done. Cash is not cleared. This is just liability. Liability means we are supposed to pay. It's a credit. We are supposed to pay. Still we have not paid. Okay. So now this is our an item expense over here it is. Now this accounts, whatever generated for our invoice, we have to transfer this accounts to GL. Now we have generated. Already this accounts has been transferred to GL. Go to invoice. So whenever we have an invoice number, so let's go for save and close. So it's very common interview question. Whenever we are attending for the interviews, they'll ask us, how will you find your invoice accounts has been transferred to GL or not? If transferred, how will you recognize? Because in GL module, we'll find journals from different sources, means from different modules, right? So how will you recognize that? Let's go to manage invoices here. For example, this is our invoice number, which is created on so-and-so date, and click search button. You must enter at least 3 characters, search by your invoice number. Okay, no problem. If your invoice number is not having 3 characters, you can search with supplier name also. Click supplier name, enter. Now this is our invoice number. First thing I want to know whether accounting generated or not. Go to the validated status, click on this. You will come to know that here accounting option, it's showing that it's been accounted. That's fine. Okay. And after that, whether these accounts transferred to GL, yes, transferred. I want to know in GL module how I can go for search this, how we can search in GL module. So you can go for expand this option here. When we expand here, when we expand, system is showing which period these accounts are generated, November 2023. What is the name of the journal batch? This is the journal batch name, and this is the journal entry name. Which date this journals transferred to GL? In case if the sequence number is generated, where these numbers will be generated at the time of specify ledger options. While working with ledger, specify ledger options if the sequence number is generated. Means if we have enabled, then we can also find that sequence number. So right now it's not done, that's why it's not there. Okay. You got the journal batch name. Copy this. You got the journal batch name copy, and this is what the amount, $99.50, which is item expense debit, and liability is a credit. Now I would like to view these accounts in GL module. We got journal batch name. That's fine. Let's copy it. And what we required, we need access to general ledger. This user, Mr. Kiran, does not have the access to GL. Only got access to account payables as well as for the procurement suppliers. So first we need application access, then we need data access. Okay, application access is nothing but a role. Data access means GL means ledger. We are supposed to assign the ledger. Let's go for let's log in as an implementation user first. After we log in as an implementation user, let's go to Navigator, Security Console, Tools menu, Security Console, and go to the tab here, Users tab. Search for the user, Kiran. Right. And go for add GL roles. There are 5 roles in general ledger model, but we required only the general accountant and accounting manager. choose general accountant. Let's choose the role code ORA_GL underscore and role membership. Another one is accounting manager. ORA_ general accounting manager. Let's go for add this. So both the roles has been added. It means we given the application access to the user. We have given application access to the user. Then we have to provide data access. When user log in and choose this application, then they are supposed to get your particular ledger data. Let's go for some environment and provide the data access to the user. Manage data access for users. When we are working in the project, providing the data access, configuration of employees and user accounts, these all things we are supposed to do it in the initial stage, especially when we are working with the GL modules, financials, creating ledger sets, creating data access set, creating data access with read-only options, providing the access to the reporting ledgers, secondary ledgers. This all we are supposed to do it. Okay. So here we can see that users with the data access. I just wanted to know what data access so far we have given to Mr. Kiran. So far, we have given the access to Mr. Kiran these three roles. Accounts payable. Now we are providing a general ledger data access. Choose the username and choose the role name. The moment when we choose the role, general accountant, it will ask you data access set because GL means it's a ledger. The moment when you choose accounts payable manager, it will ask you which business unit. Only two things we have to remember when we talk about data access set. When we talk about data access in financials. GL module means ledger. Remaining modules means business unit, AP, AR, cash management. And when we talk about fixed assets model, asset book. When we talk about fixed assets model, we'll be having asset book. Three things. Of course, that's only for asset module here. Okay. So now we are talking about general accountant. Data access set means indirectly it is a ledger only. For every ledger by default, there will be a data access set automatically created. That's what you are selecting. Data access set means indirectly you are selecting the ledger. Okay. Let's go for general accounting manager and data access set, US primary ledger I'm going to use. So after providing this data access to the user, we must run the LDAP process. Let's click the button here. Let's go to the functional area, initial users, run users and roles synchronization. It will synchronize your roles and users information. Sometimes what happened, this LDAP process might be executed by multiple employees at a time so that the system will throw the error message here saying that the process is already running by the multiple users. So don't worry, just say, if you get some error message while click this submit button, just say cancel and come back, log out and log in. Because even if some other users submit the process also, it applies to our users and a role, whatever we have provided. So it works for our users also. Okay, let's log into the applications here. Here, first we have to check the role has been applied or not. Now we can find general accounting journals. After we find the roles has been applied, next we have to check the data access successfully implemented or not. That we can find out when we open the pages. We can find the data has been populated or not. We added US primary ledger for this user and role combination. That we got it here. Now, what we have to do is we can search for the journals. Whatever we got, each period it is in November, right? We did November period and search with journal. This is batch name, journal batch. Now I can see this is the journal, which is here again another important question, the interview point of view. When I see some journal in GL module, how will you identify that the organ of this journal means from where this journals has been transferred? So two fields are important: source, another one is category. From which source the journals has been created and transferred. Source is nothing but module, payables module, receivables module, cash management, or from legacy systems also we can go for data conversions, and we can go for transfer these journals to GL here. And source, then category. When I say that source is telling us that the journals generated from tables module, and category is purchase invoice. We have different types of invoices, right? We have purchase invoice, credit memo, debit memo, prepayment invoices, and different types. So the category will tell us what type of which category these journals are related. So this source and category, two important fields, will tell us the information about these journals, from where it has been transferred. Now I can find here. And this is about the journals which has been posted from tables module. You might have created journals directly in GL when we are talking about GL model in the initial stage. That time the source will be manual journals. But when we are working in the projects, very rare case, we don't find manual journals. So finally the accounts must be generated somewhere and finally posted to GL for consolidation purpose, reporting purpose, calculating the balance sheet, trial balance, profit and loss reports generation. So that's why all the accounts, whatever generated, whatever we got generated in different modules, finally it should come to GL and let's go for the consolidation part. Right now we are in GL page. I just wanted to see the invoice transaction from the GL page. Let's say you are in GL journal page. You want to see the invoice of this particular journals. What we have to do is go down here. There is an option here. So place the cursor on amount, you will see the hand symbol. Click on this amount. Then the system will show the transaction. Your invoice number is H1. That's the invoice number. Date. I would like to see the transaction. You can also view the transaction here. View transaction. Okay, this is how we can go for transfer the accounts to GL model. I would like to view the journals for a corresponding an invoice. How we can do that? Adding the roles in the. Yeah. Yes, it's clear, guys. Any doubts here? Please.